All right, let's talk about something really practical today. We're going to get into this idea of a biological off switch for those times when your emotions just feel totally and completely overwhelming. Let's dive in.
You know that feeling, right? When an emotion just completely hijacks your brain. I mean, you literally can't think straight. You can't reason. It feels like your logic has just packed its bags and left the building. Well, it turns out there's a real scientific reason for that. And the best part? There's a way to get back in the driver's seat. Okay, so first things first, we've got to name the culprits. There are four specific emotions that are responsible for that hijacking feeling. And understanding them, that's the first step. We're going to call them the heavy four. So, what exactly are the heavy four? Well, these are emotions that flood your body with the stress hormone cortisol. And you can think of cortisol as an off switch for the logical, rational part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex. We're going to call that your adult brain. When cortisol hits, that adult brain goes dark. And here they are. You've got anxiety, that tight knot in your stomach. Anger, that hot, stormy feeling. Shame, that intense urge to just disappear. And sorrow, that deep, heavy ache. And look, we're not talking about just a little flicker of these feelings. We're talking about a full-on flood. When one of these spikes, poof, that adult brain is offline. So what happens then when your rational brain is offline? What's left? Well, you're left with your most primal, ancient survival instincts. That's it. You can't problem solve. You can't see the bigger picture. Your only options are to react, defend, or hide. Okay. So you're stuck in that primal state. And what's our first instinct? To fix it. Right? We gotta fix it now. But here's the kicker. That's where we fall into two huge traps. Traps that actually dig us deeper into the hole. Let's talk about these two cortisol traps. First up, you have the urgency trap. Oh man, you know this one. It's that desperate, overwhelming need to resolve the issue right now. You have to send that text. You have to have that argument. But here's the thing you have to remember. That urgency, it's a lie. It's just the cortisol talking. And then there's the second trap, the analysis trap. This is when you just replay what happened on a loop, over and over and over again. Yeah, this quote really hits the nail on the head for the analysis trap. That primitive, emotional part of your brain, which we can call the child brain, it just gets stuck on why. It's desperately trying to make sense of things so it can feel safe. But here's the problem. In that high cortisol state, the logic just isn't there. So the loop itself becomes the trap. And this is so important to get. It's not just that the high cortisol messes with your memory, making it all foggy and unreliable. No, it's worse. Every single time you run that loop through your head, you are triggering a fresh spike of cortisol. Think about that. You are literally forcing your body to re-experience the stress on command. You're keeping yourself in the trap. So if you can't think your way out of it, what do? Well, you stop trying to think. Instead, you flip a biological switch. And let me be super clear. This isn't about positive thinking or just trying to have a better mindset. No, this is neuroscience. This is about physically, actually, changing your brain chemistry. So here it is, the process. And it's shockingly simple. Step 1, just stop. Seriously, don't act, don't analyze, just pause. Step 2, name it. You're not judging it, you're just identifying the sensation. Okay, there's that tightness in my chest. This is anxiety. And finally, step 3, the magic step, flip the switch. You do this by intentionally, purposefully accessing one of 3 very specific emotions. And these emotions, we call them the light 3. They are the literal biological antidote to the heavy 4. They do the exact opposite of what cortisol does. They actually flush the cortisol out of your system and bring that precious blood flow back to your prefrontal cortex. In other words, they put your adult brain back in the driver's seat where it belongs. All right, so let's get into this toolkit. What are these 3 amazing emotions that can act as your personal on switch? Okay, here they are, your light 3 tools: curiosity, nurturing, and lighthearted play. Each one of these is a powerful tool you can use to physically pull your brain out of that panicked survival mode. Okay, tool number 1, curiosity. This is all about shifting your perspective. Instead of being the victim of the emotion, asking, why is this happening to me? You become a neutral scientist observing it. You get genuinely curious, not judgmental, that's key, about your own brain. You ask, Huh, that's interesting. What is my brain even doing right now? That simple question starts to pull you out of the loop.
Next up, tool number 2 is nurturing. And think of this as self-compassion, but as a biological hack. It moves you from that feeling of being under attack to feeling safe and supported. And the easiest way to access this is to ask yourself one simple question. If my best friend felt this exact same way, what would I say to them? And then you say those exact words to yourself. And finally, tool number 3. This is the one that surprises a lot of people. Play. And we're not talking about competitive sports here. We're talking about genuine, lighthearted, silly joy. Go watch a funny cat video, dance around your kitchen, do something totally disconnected from the problem. You know, a real deep belly laugh is one of the absolute fastest ways to flush cortisol right out of your system. It's that powerful. And here's the best part. You don't have to master all 3 of these at once. You just need to find one. Whichever of the light 3 feels the easiest to reach for in that moment, just grab it. Because getting a little bit of one tends to start a chain reaction. It's like a domino effect for feeling better. All right, let's wrap this up. We're going to tie all this together into a new, simple rule you can use anytime you start to feel that overwhelm creep in. It's really all about reframing the entire experience. And this part is absolutely crucial. Those heavy 4 emotions, anxiety, anger, shame, sorrow, they aren't bad. They don't mean you're broken. They're not proof that something is wrong with you. The best way to think about them is like the warning lights on your car's dashboard. They're just signals. That's it. Signals from your nervous system saying, hey, I could use a little help over here. And that really brings us to the single biggest takeaway from all of this. Listen to this. You cannot think your way out of a cortisol flood. It's impossible. Your logic is offline. Trying to reason with it is like trying to start a car with a dead battery. It's just not going to work. But what you can do is flip a switch, a biological switch. So I want to leave you with something to chew on. As you go about your week, just start to notice which one of the heavy 4 tends to show up most often for you. Is there a default? And on the flip side, which of the light 3, curiosity, nurturing, or play, feels like the easiest one for you to reach for? You might be surprised to find you're already using these tools without even realizing it. From now on, your only job is to see that warning light, take a breath, and consciously choose your pivot.